A very good evening to you who is watching UBC TV. Thank you for joining me on U Health Chat. My name is Sophie Matovu. Now, our topic of discussion tonight is adopting healthy living habits, taking control of non-communicable diseases. I'm not the expert like I normally tell you when it comes to these matters and topics of discussion. With me in studio is Dr. Robert Zavuga, an epidemiologist. Pardon me when I come to pronounce some of those medical terms, from Uganda National Institute of Public Health. Doctor, a very good evening to you.
Good evening, Madam Sophie.
Thank you for taking time to come for the show.
And thank you for hosting me.
Okay. Now, I would like us to start with the very first bit. That title of yours, there are certain times it's not every day that we get to meet this kind of people in your specialty.
Yeah.
What does it mean, or what exactly do you do?
Good evening, viewers, once again. As earlier introduced, I'm an epidemiologist. Epidemiologists, we do simple jobs. Like in the medical practice, there are various disciplines and specialties. But as epidemiologists, we do study disease trends and distribution of diseases in a particular population, and we apply those principles which we have studied to control diseases, not in the public health arena. Simply, that is what we do in the public health arena.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, Doctor, I'd like us to get straight to it, dive into it. There are certain times when we use certain terms, people think they're very medical, they're very complicated. Yep. What are non-communicable diseases?
Wow. Non-communicable diseases, first of all, allow me to tell you that the diseases have different ways, have been classified. But one of the ways these diseases has been classified is to classify them into communicable diseases and non-communicable diseases. That is one of the different classification of diseases. Now, communicable diseases, in essence, it means diseases which can be spread from one person to another. And these are diseases which are spread either through contact, when I touch you, or through sneezing, and they are caused by germs. Germs like bacteria, germs like bacteria, viruses. And for instance, an example of a communicable disease is, for example, if I had the flu here and I sit near you and I sneeze, you will get the disease. Okay. Another example is maybe malaria. Is malaria, because if I have malaria and I sit near you and the mosquito comes and bites me, and it bites you, you will get the malaria. For example, if someone has HIV or any other sexually transmitted disease, and they have unprotected sex, they will transmit, they will spread the disease to someone else. So those are communicable diseases. Now, the exact opposite of communicable diseases is the non-communicable diseases. What essentially this means is that these are diseases which cannot be not be spread from one person to another. For example, there are examples of the non-communicable diseases which have been known, and more emphasis has been put on them. Diabetes, because someone has diabetes and I sit near them, I cannot get diabetes. Another one is the heart diseases. If I have heart disease, like for example hypertension or stroke, and I sit near you, I cannot spread it to you. Now, these non-communicable diseases, they have characteristics that they are chronic in nature. Chronic, the viewer there, this is not a medical term like what Madam Sophie wants to refer to, but chronic means that once you have a disease, it is likely that you're going to spend with it for a longer time, and probably for a lifetime. So majority of the non-communicable diseases are chronic in nature, and one other aspect about them is that they have slow progress. Slow progress. A slow progress means that you can stay with them. They don't knock you down immediately, like how a fever can knock you down immediately. Yes. And the other attribute about them is that they cannot be spread from one person to another. So in a nutshell, that is what I can say about the difference between communicable diseases and non-communicable diseases. Yes.
Okay. How bad is the problem?
Non-communicable diseases, we could say that right now we are seeing an increase in the numbers of people who are living with non-communicable diseases. And to put in perspective is that globally, about 70% of the deaths are attributed to non-communicable diseases. Essentially, the viewer out there, 7 people out of 10 people who die in the world die of these non-communicable diseases. And in the Ugandan perspective, actually it is for the 3 people who die, 1 of them has died of a non-communicable disease. So that is how big the problem is. And funny enough, actually that is why we are more concerned as medical people, is that 80% of the population does not know that they are living with a non-communicable disease. A study was done in Uganda, and they found out that 80%, that is to say 8 out of 10 people, if they are living with and they are asked and they are screened, actually 8 out of 10 people don't actually know that they have a non-communicable disease. And the other issue is that previously Uganda, we had a bout of these communicable diseases. That is to say the infectious diseases which can be spread from one person to another. For example, that was TB, malaria. Malaria used to kill a lot of people, and of course right now it is still killing, but not like it used to do. We used to have other diseases like cholera, dysentery, but the trend changed over time. Why did the trend change over time? Because we got modern methods of treatment, drugs are more effective nowadays, and also immunization has played a bigger part. So now those germs which used to cause those communicable diseases are actually being controlled now, right now, because we have better methods of treatment. Now as Uganda, now we are seeing because of that, our life expectancy, if you remember, in between 1986 to 1994, around that period, it was low. It was around 45 years to 46 years, our life expectancy. People were dying at a younger age. But because of those modern methods of treatment, vaccination, so the communicable diseases were controlled. Now we are seeing a rise in the non-communicable diseases because they are associated with age. Because as we age, we get these diseases. So they are associated with age and with longevity. And of course it correlates well because right now our life expectancy is in 60s. Actually it's like 66 years. So there is a rise in the non-communicable diseases. But much as there is a rise, now this is where the double trouble comes in. Much as there is the rise in the non-communicable diseases, we have not completely controlled the communicable diseases. So as a country, we are we are facing a double tragedy of controlling communicable diseases like cholera, like malaria, like HIV, and also the non-communicable diseases. Unlike the Western world, because in the Western world, these infections, the communicable diseases, they have gone down really. So for them, they are more the non-communicable diseases. So that is why, that is how bad the problem is. And another, which is also important, is our persons who are on, our clients who are on HIV treatment. HIV treatment has prolonged life. People are no longer getting problems that they used to be before the coming of ARVs. So now people are living longer and are living a good life, a happier life, a fulfilled life. We call it a fulfilled life. Now, because of that, and communicable disease, non-communicable diseases are attached with age. So we are saying that now there is HIV and non-communicable diseases in one person. So someone has HIV and diabetes, for example. So you look at the pill burden, you look at the costs involved in treatment, and that is why the ministry and all practitioners in the public health arena are concerned about non-communicable diseases.
Wow. You know, it's very easy for one, I beg for you to use your expertise to try and educate a person who's watching you right now. It is very easy, somebody knows how malaria is possibly spread. That's why, you know, the intervention of the mosquito nets and everything. And then, what is the cause of the non-communicable diseases? Possibly a lay person will be able to understand. And why is it also that if the percentage is that high, most people get to be diagnosed, or they dictate and notice it at a late stage? Somebody might have been having all the signs and symptoms, but they don't know that these are the warning bells that, hey, this is what it is. By the time they get to discover, it is too late.
Okay. Non-communicable diseases, like I said, they are a group of diseases which cannot be spread from one person to another. And if you could allow me elaborate more. Now, these are the diseases, the major types of diseases, but there are more others. Now, we have diabetes. Diabetes, that is when a person has high blood sugar or high glucose in the blood. And if unattended to, it can lead to severe damage of the internal organs and death. And unfortunately, like I said, like majority of people actually don't know that they have this disease because of our poor health-seeking behaviors. Secondly is the heart diseases. Heart diseases, for example, we have high blood pressure, we have stroke, and also diseases of the heart itself. We have another type, which is the chronic lung diseases. This is where the categories of the asthmas fall in. And also we have diseases, mental health diseases. We have mental health diseases and cancers. Those are the major types of the non-communicable diseases. However, also other diseases like kidney diseases, sickle cell disease. So mention all the other types of diseases which are not spread from one person to another. They also fall in the category of the non-communicable diseases. So our viewer would like to know, how are these diseases, how do people get these diseases? By and large, we would call them risk factors. I don't know whether I'm using a very medical language.
No, it's not very medical there.
Okay, these are the things which expose you to getting a disease.
Exactly.
Now, first of all, I've talked about poor health-seeking behaviors. So if you may ask, how is my poor health-seeking behavior, for example, not going to the hospital, be a risk factor of a non-communicable disease? If you take long without going to the hospital, and which is common to all of us, we only go to hospital when we feel sick. Medical experts advise us to at least visit a hospital for just a normal checkup, at least once in a year. Those are 6 months apart in a year. Just to go there and say, doctor, today I've just come to do a general body checkup. By doing a body general checkup once a year, the doctor will see changes in your body. And these changes could be early warnings of maybe some cancers. And these small changes may be early warnings of a disease which has not yet developed. And if they get it from that medical screening stage, then they can treat it and curb it and doesn't spread. So poor health-seeking behavior, which not we as Uganda, which most people have, is one of the risk factors. And I encourage viewers to at least visit a doctor, a hospital, and tell them I've come for just medical checkup. Then the other one is the poor feeding habits, poor diet. Sophie, when we talk about poor diet, people think that good diet is eating meat, drinking milk. No. One is that nowadays people are exposed, eat a lot of junk food, which you've just called junk. Why do we call it junk? It has a lot of fats, it has a lot of oils. I think if you may imagine, people eat roadside chips or anything, these chips which are deep fried. Just imagine it is still dripping with oil. And someone's putting that oil in their stomach, in their mouth, and ultimately their stomach. That fat alone you've taken in is going to be, the body will not reject it, it will just keep it. And it keeps it under the belly. It keeps it under the belly. And these fats, when they accumulate, they coat under your blood vessels, inside the blood vessels, making you have high blood pressure, because the vessels are going to be narrowed inside, and blood will find very hard time to pass through. So it will expose you to high blood pressure, and boom, the next time you get a stroke. So eating junk food, we have talked about junk foods. Another one is eating high salt content foods. Nowadays people enjoy a lot of roasted meat, roasted chicken at barbecues. Me too, I personally enjoy them, but this is the catch. To make that meat tasty, someone is going to do what? Add salt and other additives. Salt, which is added in that way, will expose you to getting high blood pressure and other non-communicable diseases. So the viewer there who enjoys, which we all of us enjoy, roasted meat, please watch, especially those who do it consistently. You'll find that some people eat roasted meat with the added salt every hour, and not even every day. So that one can expose them to getting hypertension, high blood pressure. Another one, people are drinking a lot of sugar, Sophie. When we are young, young, I mean, before maybe before age 10, Your body, you see those young kids, they run around, they do what?
The energy, they're hyperactive.
They're hyperactive, yes. Why? Oh, not why. The sugar they eat, the food they eat, they use it to do what? To run around. But now, for us, we take this sugar and we sit. And also eating, we are taking a lot of drinks which are artificially sweetened, like sodas, which most people enjoy. So having poor eating habits. Oh, I had forgotten something else. We eat a lot of food. Imagine someone goes to maybe name an occasion. You've seen people who pack a lot of food on their plate, mountains and mountains, and no surprise, someone eats that food.
And finishes it.
But he's going to sit down. So that food is going to be packed inside. So you're creating a store of reserve food in your body in form of fats, because food which is not used up, the body changes it to fats as well. So you're creating a store of unused foods. So also eating a lot of food. So another factor another thing which can expose you to non-communicable diseases is physical inactivity, lack of exercises. Viewers, exercises have a very play an important role in the fight of non-communicable diseases. First of all, we've realized that the trend now, due to affluency, you remember when we used to grow, when we were in the village, we used to walk to school like 2 kilometers. Now, after then, maybe God has given you mercy and you have a small car you're driving. That it's a blessing, but it is making you sedentary. It's not making you inactive. I'm not saying people that they should drop their cars. No, but we are looking at the risk that people nowadays, what we call work is not the work people used to do those days. For example, right now, Madam Sophie, what they call work is, I'm going for work, I wake up in the morning, shower up, make up myself, sit in a car, sit in traffic jam. Remember, I've had breakfast at home, so I sit. So when I come at work, I sit in an armchair. When I'm going to another office, I will take a lift. I will not climb the stairs. In between there are snacks. There's lunch after then. In the evening, I'll drive the same car, then go. Day 1 to day 7. That is the whole week.
When I get home, I sit and watch TV.
You watch TV. In the same way, and actually there's a danger also, we are also seeing this in children now. Because children are spending majority of their time on TV sets and video games.
Yes.
Now we are seeing a trend of obesity in also young kids as well. So imagine that is your lifestyle and you never do any physical activity. So if you don't do physical activity, you're exposing yourself to these other diseases, like even cancers. Some cancers are associated with physical inactivity, lack of exercises as well. Like I said, diabetes is also associated with lack of exercise and hypertension as well. So another, oh, you seem so scared. Why is that?
No, you look at it and you're like, wow, it's really like.
And that is, you see what is surprising? That is what people call work.
And work, by the way.
However, it doesn't cost a thing if you shed yourself and you say, maybe weekends I won't use my car, I'll walk. It doesn't cost much. Another factor which is predisposing, which be a risk factor to non-communicable diseases, is stress. We have a lot of people passing through various forms of stress. Now, this stress will bring you to have mental health issues. For example, You can be there because of work. Okay, stress can be even work-related, home-related, overthinking, school fees. Madam Sophie, there are so many things going on in our lives. We don't even know when our next meal will be. We don't know even when the next school fees, whether we shall be able to pay
for it.
So you accumulate those small bouts of stress. Your job is stressing you, your boss is stressing you. They keep piling up. And that is why now they come and someone explodes, and you see someone is suddenly depressed, and they commit suicide. And I think, I don't remember when, but there's a daily which ran that majority of Ugandans have mental health problems.
Yes, I do remember that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So stress could also be associated, and also stress can lead to high blood pressure. By the way, it is also associated with high blood pressure, and sometimes also studies also link it to diabetes as well. So another factor which can expose you to non-communicable diseases is excessive drinking of alcohol. Research has shown over and over again that when someone drinks alcohol, excessive alcohol, I think let the viewers mark my word, excessive use of alcohol, they can be exposed to other non-communicable diseases, like some cancers have been associated with drinking too much alcohol. Some and also studies are also some research is showing that some people who drink a lot of alcohol are also liable to get mental health problems as well. So also another factor which is associated with non-communicable diseases is tobacco use. Tobacco use, when we talk about tobacco use, the first thing which comes to people's mind is smoking. Yes, cigarette smoking falls under tobacco use. However, there are also people who smoke the pipe.
Shisha.
There are people who smoke shisha as well. So all those contaminants, when taken in your body, can trigger some cells that can cause you cancer and non-communicable diseases. We have air pollution. Air pollution is also a risk factor to non-communicable diseases. You can ask me how. These people okay, air pollution can be both indoor, that is inside the house, or outdoor. Now indoor, let's begin with indoor. Indoor, these are the people who cook on firewood in the kitchen, and they are there. All they have put charcoal. And they are in the house. So all those packs, all that smoke which comes off, all those minute particles, you inhale them. And they coat on the lining of the breathing tube inside your body, and they can trigger some cancers to start developing. Outdoor smoking, outdoor pollution. Outdoor pollution, not everywhere, but you can see dust rising somewhere and other minute particles in the air which we inhale. They can expose you to non-communicable diseases. So in a nutshell, Madam Sophie, the factors which can lead to non-communicable diseases are very many, and But if our viewers, if a viewer there wants to reduce the chances of getting these diseases, they can modify those factors.
Wow,
Yes.
wow, wow. You know, I think the most important thing at this point is for us to be able to have those routine checks. Once a year is not too much to ask for, because it is worrying. And also now with the way you have talked about the risk factors, is for us to get back and try to adjust our lifestyle. That is why I think they end up calling them the lifestyle diseases. Now, I'm curious to find out, given the nature of work you do, under the Institute of Public Health, what interventions have you put in place? Because the core mandate and objective, or what your drive is taking control of these non-communicable diseases. Yes.
What we, the National Institute of Public Health falls under the Ministry of Health, and usually the mandate is at the policy level. And we could say that at policy level, Parliament has enacted laws which have helped, and some of them are in the pipeline to control the pollutants we've talked about. The Tobacco Control Act, which was passed some time back, Ministry of Health was instrumental in drafting that policy, which Parliament passed. And also there is one in the pipeline about alcohol use. We understand that it is still on the floor of Parliament. We hope, and it's our prayer, that it can be passed, because like I said, that if alcohol is not regulated, some people can abuse it, and they get exposed to these non-communicable diseases. And also at the Institute, we usually encourage public awareness campaigns, and also reaching out to the public, because we as public health specialists, we treat, I usually call it, treat masses in big numbers through preaching the gospel, like how we are doing right now. Tell people about the dangers of these non-communicable diseases. Which are these non-communicable diseases, by the way? Talk about the annual medical screening, routine screening. Talk about other risk factors we've talked about. And usually that is what we do at the Institute of Public Health. And also we hope also engage with other stakeholders, because there are NGOs actually which are in the fight of non-communicable diseases as well. And also there is a whole directorate in the Ministry of Health which is designated for non-communicable diseases. So we work with partners such that we reach out to everyone about this gospel fighting non-communicable diseases.
Okay. Well, at this particular time, I'd like us to take a very short break, and when we do come back, we are still going to take you through into this very educative topic.
And in talking news, MTN has improved on their daily voice bundles. You can now call across all networks for the same price. We've talked to several eyewitnesses on the ground, and this is what one of them had to say. Amos, did you hear about the MTN Daily Voice Bundles? So, to join many more other Ugandans enjoying these MTN Daily Voice Bundles, dial *100 *21 hash or use the My MTN app to start enjoying. Hey, stay tuned for more offers from MTN.
Corporate Games is back bigger and better. Our next outing is on the 13th of August 2023 at Dove Stadium along Portbell Road. Entrance is free and games will run from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Be part of the Corporate Games family and experience a number of benefits like annual participation, team building, free exhibition, branding opportunities, and media coverage. For more information, contact us on 0700339048 or 0782193612. Corporate Games, inspiring corporates through sports.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. You're still watching You Health Chat, and our topic of discussion is adopting healthy living habits, taking control of non-communicable diseases. And with me in studio is none other than Dr. Robert Zavuga. Now, Doctor, still, I'd like to get back to you. Yeah. The way you have clearly spelled it out for us is obvious that we really have a challenge. I believe many people have been able to identify with where we are getting it wrong. Now, what are the challenges that Ministry of Health and the National Institute of Public Health are facing in trying to put us on track and to curb down the situation?
The challenges in fighting non-communicable diseases, I would say most of the challenges on individual basis, because, like you said, lifestyle diseases, and lifestyle is society. Not long ago, even up to now, when they saw a man with a big belly, with a big tummy, with big cheeks, they say, "Oh, you're looking healthy." For example, the mothers, when they see a big baby, they say, "Oh, your baby looks healthy." So now, the mindset has to first change in the society, and because of that mindset change, it is bringing a very big problem in fighting NCDs. Our society has to accept what is not normal in terms of lifestyle, and we adjust. Of course, definitely it would be funding, because another challenge is funding, because reaching out to various communities and telling them about this problem we are facing is becoming hard, because most of the efforts have been concentrated on the infectious, the communicable diseases. So the non-communicable diseases have been left, not abandoned, because the government of Uganda has, in the budget, it has a particular percentage it allocates to non-communicable diseases.
Okay.
It does. However, we need to do more in that. So those are some of the challenges, but the main issue is to change the individual habits and lifestyle. And to deal with the mindset change, it has to begin with the individual, which is a very big thing to come up with.
True. Then can you say you have registered some success
Yeah,
in
oh, yes.
taking control?
Yes, we are, I won't say we are registering success, like plain as it is, but I think there are some good pointers.
Okay.
Because we are seeing that the uptake of our messages, for example, healthy living, for example, reducing on these risk factors we've talked about, these messages of public health information we are giving out, the uptake is improving, although much more is needed. So we are registering some success, I would say, but a lot more needs to be done. And of course, me as a practitioner, it gives me joy every evening when I see people jog around. It gives me a lot of joy when someone takes that, when someone says that, for me nowadays I don't take tea with sugar. It gives me joy when someone says, nowadays I'm on intermittent fasting. I want to reduce the amount of food I keep in my body, which is redundant. So me as a person, when I meet people and they're giving such positive messages, I count that we are doing a very good job, and maybe one day, one time, we shall be there when everyone knows the effects, the bad effects of non-communicable disease and how to stop them.
Then doctor, what's your take? Because there are certain times, given that you've given us that bit of the life expectation, the lifespan, some people might get comfortable. I will follow the trend. I will not help my child to follow the trend. I'll think, since, you know, the child has asked for chips, and it's like, by the way, because these days it's a very big problem. You'll find that in many homes, the meal plan is determined by the children, you know? But you look at the lifestyle of this child is picked up from school. From the time they are picked up, they are snacking. Not even snacking, actually having the actual meals. The deep fried chicken, the yogurt, maybe a cake, maybe the ice cream, maybe the chocolates. Then when they get home, the mother is like, but telling the house help, but the child said they want chips and sausage for dinner. So that is what will cut across for everybody. Yeah? And we're doing the disservice to the children. While you're the parent, you're there doing your salads. You're there saying, I'm not going to have dinner.
Yeah.
So I don't know what your message is to that kind of parent out there.
The parent out there, you should take charge of your health first, and also the health of your loved ones, including your children. I usually say that if, Madam Sophie, majority of these lifestyle diseases and non-communicable diseases can be controlled by just changing the way you eat, eating the right foods. Which are the right foods? Reduce the carbohydrate intake, eat a lot of green vegetables and fruits. In Uganda, it is the reverse. When people serve a meal, they put a lot of the other food and put a small spoon of greens. I would encourage viewers to reverse the trend. Put on a lot of green vegetables and a few of the other foods. And naturally, as Uganda, we've been gifted, we have these foods with us. The other thing is that if you do not take the right food, then medicine is going to be your food. That's what I tell my clients I meet, that if you do not want to take charge of your life by changing your lifestyle and diet, a lifestyle and meaning, now begin being physically active, do exercises, do annual medical screenings and checkup, eat the right foods. If you don't do that, then unfortunately medicine is going to be your food. For our viewers who are already unfortunately suffering from non-communicable diseases. This is yours too. It is unfortunate that this happened. However, no, like we said in the very beginning, this is a chronic infection, a chronic disease, sorry, and it is likely that you're going to stay on treatment for a longer period of time. Even it could be until your death. So it means that do not get off your medication. Please take your medication diligently with hope. And because we've seen success stories, people living positively with non-communicable disease, and they are taking their medications and they're doing very well and they're living a productive life. That is what I would tell my viewers there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Robert Javoga. We do really appreciate the way you have broken it down for us, and I'm sure everybody has picked a leaf. I have personally picked a leaf out of this conversation.
Yes.
To the person who's been watching the show, I would like to say thank you so much for taking your precious time off this evening to sit with us, to allow us to come into your living rooms. And I would like to remind you, just or maybe to re-echo what Doctor has said. These non-communicable diseases are what we classify as the lifestyle diseases. If you change your lifestyle, if you're able to accept and to appreciate, and maybe have your one junk day, is that bad? No. One junk day in a week.
Don't spoil yourself. No, don't spoil yourself.
Hey, doctor is telling us not to spoil ourselves. Not even once a week. It is terrible. Some of us have been spoiling ourselves once a week, so I think that trend is going to change. Well, that is all we had for you tonight. Thank you so much for staying with us, and keep watching UBC TV for the 10 o'clock news will be coming your way shortly with Lauren Kazimoto. Good night from me and from Doctor.
Bye. Thank you.
Okay.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Juko.
Yo.
What you go? Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I